Let's switch this up. In 8th grade, through a series of unfortunate events, I garnered somewhat of a reputation as a bad girl rule breaker, even though that was so not true. So last day of 8th grade, this guy that I was friends with came up to me and was like, I know you drink. Me and my friends want to try alcohol for the first time. Like, can you set that up? Even though I had literally drank, I think, once in my life at this point and had no way to get alcohol, I was like, yeah, for sure. I started coming up with this whole elaborate plan. I was having some friends sleep over at my house that night. Him and his friend were having a sleepover. There's an abandoned house in my neighborhood. Let's sneak out and meet there and I'll get alcohol. I didn't know how to get alcohol. I had never snuck out before, but I was a woman on a mission. I remember calling my sister's boyfriend and being like, don't tell my sister this, but like, can you help me get alcohol? And he was like, no. There was only one other person that I could think of that could help me out of this predicament. I hit him up and he came through. So the two girls come over to my house for the sleepover. The person getting us alcohol was supposed to stash it at the abandoned house and then leave, and we were gonna go like pick it up later when we were sneaking out. The alcohol man then starts texting me around like 11 and is like, hey, like, I know I'm just supposed to stash this and like leave, but like, do you guys want to come hang out? We can't sneak out yet because my parents are still awake, and we're also not supposed to meet the other guys there for like a couple hours. But it's like this upperclassman guy, so I'm like, I don't want to seem like a loser. He originally was just supposed to get us beer, but then I think when he realized there were going to be 3 girls alone with him, he brought a bunch of hard alcohol. Us being 14, we obviously didn't know our limits. It's the 3 of us and him, and all 3 of us are getting drunker and drunker and drunker, and he is all over one of the other 2 girls because later in high school we find out he's a pervert. And I'm drunk texting the other guys being like, where the fuck are you? And basically like the one guy's parents stayed up really late so they couldn't sneak out till really late, and then they lived like far away, so it took them so long to get there. Drunk girls are not known for keeping their voices down, so after 2 or 3 times of me and the 2 other girls being a little too loud, the guy who got us drunk was scared that the neighbors were going to find out we were trespassing on this abandoned house, and then he left, and he left the 3 girls that he got fucking drunk to fend for themselves. The other 2 guys finally show up, but we are in like our peak drunkenness. They obviously had never drank before, and they had like no experience being around drunk people, so they were like, what the fuck did we just walk into? The other 2 girls are like borderline incoherent, and me and the guys make the decision that we need to leave this abandoned house or else someone is going to call the cops on us. But in the process of us getting our shit together to leave, I realized I lost the case that was on my phone. It was a charging Mophie case that I had stolen from my brother. I start like crying and like whining about this fuck ass phone case, and they're like so annoyed at me, and they're like, fucking leave it. We leave the abandoned house, we're walking back to my house, and I'm leading the way, and each of them are like paired with one of the drunker girls. Both of these guys had separately had conversations with me being like, one of the 2 girls that we were with is so hot, like, don't let me cheat on whoever the fuck I'm talking to with this girl. So as I'm drunk as shit, borderline hysterical, I also keep checking on these guys and making them like switch the girl they're with, because for some reason I thought it was my fucking responsibility to make them not cheat on their fucking girlfriends. Both of them were also being so like annoying to me. Like, yeah, I was drunk, but like I knew how to get back to my house, and it felt like they were like babying me. All 5 of us somehow make it back the 3 blocks to my house. In order to sneak back into my house, you had to hop a fence, and the 2 drunk girls were in no fucking state to do that. I thought we were screwed. In some sort of miracle, all of us get over the fence. I open the back door, we're sneaking back in, everything's going great, and then one of the drunk girls stumbles and falls into the fucking doorbell. The guys bolt back where they came from. Me and my 2 friends run down to the basement because that's where we were sleeping, and I was convinced my parents were gonna be up any second to yell at our asses. 10 minutes goes by and nothing from my parents, so I'm like, cool, we're in the clear. Then one of my friends starts puking in the toilet. That's when my dad decides to come downstairs. I intercepted him right before he got to the bathroom, and I was like, hey, like, what are you doing down here? And he was like, oh, well, we heard the water running a lot, we wanted to make sure everything was okay. I was like, oh yeah, like in there, like it shouldn't be an issue. And he was like, oh, okay, let me just check on her. I was convinced that we were done for. I thought she was gonna come out of that bathroom incoherent, covered in vomit. She comes out of the bathroom, she looks at my dad, she goes, oh, hi, Mr. Highland. We got away with everything. My parents might have had their suspicions, but I never got punished for anything. There was a birthday party the next day for a guy that I was friends with and the two sober guys was friends with, and the whole time they wouldn't stop mocking me for whining and crying about my Mophie case. Anyways, this is the final look. I'm gonna go have wine night with my friends Liv and Haroon. Love you. Bye.
I'm gonna tell you about this girl that was crazy obsessed with my boyfriend, okay? So, I get with my boyfriend, and then, like, 2 days later, I get a hey girl text, and I, like, read it, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. Like, she's like, are you dating so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah, I am. She's like, oh, like, he just stopped talking to me. Like, I wonder why. So this girl, she seems nice enough, so I asked my boyfriend about it, and then he kind of explains it. And, like, this part isn't that big of a deal, so I'm, like, being very brief. But he explains that, like, he was talking to both of us at the same time, but, like, ended up choosing me. And then, like, immediately blocked that girl. Like, good job. So, like, I didn't really talk to her after that, but, like, a few weeks go by. And she, like, adds me on Snapchat, and I thought it was kind of odd, so I added her back. And then she starts snapping me. And I'm a little petty, so I only start snapping her back when I'm with my boyfriend, but then she just starts asking me, like, weird questions. She's like, what do you guys do when you're together? Like, why would I tell you that? That's weird. And, like, literally, like, once a week, this girl is asking me about the status of my relationship. Like, that's really weird. Like, I get it, she has a little crush on my boyfriend because he's, like, amazing and beautiful. So, eventually, I end up blocking her because I'm like, this girl is so weird and so obsessed with me and my boyfriend, and I really don't think anything of it. Like, literally, I want to say like 6 or 7 months go by and I totally forgot about this freaking girl. So I really forget about her, and then one day I'm like looking at my boyfriend's TikTok profile because like I like to see what he reposts and stuff like that, and I noticed that his follower count goes up by 1, so I click on it, and it's like this weird account, like with a weird username. It has no profile picture. So I click on it, and imagine my surprise when it's this freaking girl who made a new account just to post thirst traps and follow my boyfriend. Literally all of the videos on it were thirst traps that had like just been posted in the past like 2 days to 24 hours. And I am like, what? And the only person that she's following is my boyfriend. Obviously he didn't follow her back, and when I told him about it, he was like, oh my god, I didn't even notice. That is like actually so weird. So then I go to find her main account, but then I realized she blocked me on TikTok, so then I like switch over to like a random like burner account, and I look her up, and then I see she like back then had a whole boyfriend while she was like making thirst traps specifically for my boyfriend. So I take my petty ass right to this girlfriend's boyfriend's account, and I take screenshots of everything, and then I explain the whole thing to him about how she was obsessed with my boyfriend, would not like stop asking about us like literally once a week, and I did not know how he was gonna react. And then he tells me, he's like, I'm sorry, she's a child. Like, that's so funny. And he was like apologizing. He was like, I'm sorry that she's so obsessed with you guys. And like that's crazy. Like, why does your boyfriend have to apologize on your behalf? Like, you seriously have a whole freaking boyfriend and you still want mine? I need to find the screenshots of me and that guy's conversation, and I will literally look for them and post them. Also, not to mention, this girl doesn't even live near us, okay? And she lives in the same state, but like 3 freaking hours away. Like, seriously, what are you doing? So I could finally speak my truth after, because it's been a few years since this happened, so.
Am I in the wrong for outing my husband to his family and telling the truth about what he was doing whilst I was in labour? Story time. So I gave birth to my son about 10 weeks ago. I went through this exhausting period whilst I was close to my due date. I was experiencing the craziest discomfort, and you know, I just really wanted my husband there for whenever anything was going to kick off. I didn't know when I was going to go into labour, and I told him this. But he decided that it would be a better idea to hang out with his mates every night. They would go and watch all the football games till late at night. Like, I suggested playing those games and watching the games at our house just in case. But he was having absolutely none of it. He said they had certain, how can I describe it, rituals whilst watching the game. You just can't enjoy doing that at home or anywhere else. So the night of my son's birth, my water broke whilst he was at his buddy's house. I called him, I was like, hi, water is on the floor, water has broken, baby is coming. Are you? I told him to get home and take me to the hospital. He said he was coming. I waited for an hour and he never came. So I ended up having to call my sister. She only lives like 5 minutes down the road. And my husband showed up to the hospital 2 hours later. He would call every 10 to 15 minutes asking if I was still in labour. He was like, the game's nearly done, so I'll be over soon. What do you mean you'll be over soon? Now, he was able to make it just in time for our son's birth. But I was livid. I was furious. I was disappointed. He apologised profoundly. He apologised a lot. And he's been doing everything he can to regain my trust and my respect. He's otherwise very, very supportive and involved in our son's well-being and care. Babe, that is literally the job of a dad. Like, that's not something to praise. So last night we went round to my in-laws for the first time since having our son, and we were chatting and we got talking about like the birth story. This is so funny that I just carry on talking with my eyes closed. Like, am I even on screen? Anyway, and my husband starts to recall, you know, like the whole thing. He started lying about driving me to the hospital. He said that he was sat in the waiting room feeling so stressed and nervous but excited. He said it was really difficult standing on his feet for so long waiting. Which even if you were there, Steve, like, come on, read the room. I was confused and I'd had enough of his shit. I was like, is that really what happened, Steve? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, well, I remember it like this. I remember that you were in fact over at Dave's house watching the football and you refused to take me to the hospital, so my sister did. I actively went into labour whilst you were watching the game. Now, my mother-in-law, my mother-in-law Sandra, we love her so much. Love you, Sandy. She takes no shit from anyone, right? And I low-key am kind of scared of her. She started berating him left and right. At one point, he decided he was ready to leave. She was like, you can shut up and sit down. Andrea, you boss bitch. Everyone started howling because it was so funny that she was treating him like he was like 8 years old. Like, shame on you. This is not how I've raised my children to treat their wives. He didn't say anything to me on the way home. He went nuts at me, saying that I had made him look neglectful, that I should have just told them all that he was there the whole time. And I was like, but it's not good to lie, Steve. And he says, I hope that I'm proud of myself for causing a rift between him and his family.
Okay, y'all asked, so I'm gonna give it to you. Here is the story time of how he went to sleep with me, and I found him in my sister's bed the very next morning. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is referencing my last video. So this is so bad to say, but I wasn't even surprised because my sister's room gets a little cooler than mine. So I was just like, okay, like, he just wanted to be colder. That's probably why he left me. Side note, I had to switch to a headband because I couldn't get close enough to my hairline. If you guys haven't caught on, that was a complete joke. This is about my dog. My dog's actually a girl, but I wanted it to sound better because I have a boyfriend, so I changed it to he. So to clarify, my boyfriend did not cheat on me. He never has. He never will. I don't even think he's watched my TikTok about it. So, but I know some people caught on, but yeah, I just thought it'd be funny. I'm actually going to see my boyfriend next week, so there is nothing weird going on. And I'm also probably going to go shop for my sister's bachelorette tonight. So everybody is on good terms. So basically today, I'm just going to get a lot of errands done and TikToking so that I can leave Sunday or Monday to go out of town. Maybe Tuesday. I don't know. I'll stay 3 nights with my friend Nat. And then I'm going to stay 3 nights with my boyfriend because he'll just be like moving into a new apartment. He has a summer internship and then he'll move back to his college in like August, I want to say, after we go to Hawaii. So I'll probably just help my boyfriend move in towards the end of the week and that'll be good. I'm gonna try to get as much videos done as I can today, as many, I don't speak correctly. I will say I have some good hauls coming for you guys because I know I'm getting some Morgan Wallen stuff in. I know I'm getting like a She is Gracie Lou package in. Like, I'm so excited. I just went to the kitchen to get my stuff to make my greens. Please tell me why my little brother made a pot that says D's nuts for his pottery class. My little brother is the funniest person I know. Like,
It's so funny because in school I was like so scared of getting in trouble, and then my little brother's over here making that. Honestly though, that kind of makes me want to go to like a little pottery thing with my boyfriend or my friend next week and make something because it kind of looks fun. If y'all had a pottery thingy in your art class, what did you make? I tried to make a strawberry and it did not turn out good, so I had to turn it into a tomato. I need to go back and get my like, whatever it's called, revenge and make something good this time. Thanks for getting ready with me. I love you guys.
Get ready with me while I tell you how I stole my best friend's boyfriend. So no, I did not actually steal my best friend's boyfriend, but we are not friends anymore because she thought I wanted him. So basically, to kind of give you a little background information, I have a cousin that's a guy, and we were born a week apart. We live on the same street, so we're really close, so we kind of share friends. So since we kind of like shared friends, anytime like guys were over my house, girls were over my house, and guys were over his house, we kind of just became a big friend group. So we had like a bigger friend group of guys and girls. There was this one specific guy, like we weren't ever anything, but like we had conversations about like liking each other before, but we were nothing. And especially at this point in time, whenever this all went down, because I had a boyfriend for probably like 2 months at the time. And he's still my boyfriend, so obviously I was not cheating on him. So the guy in question, my friend's boyfriend that I fell in love with, he sat behind me in a history class in my freshman year, and he would always be like, who do you like, who do you like? And I was like, I was already talking to my boyfriend, so I was like my boyfriend basically, and he was like, And I was like, but you should talk to my friend. And he was like, does she like me? Does she like me? My friend did not even like him at the time. I was trying to help him out, but little did I know that this would come back to bite me in the ass. So I like kind of hooked them up. She didn't really like him at first, so I had to like respond to him because he was like, do you want to start talking? She responded to him like days later basically and was like, yeah, you know what, we can start talking. Well, they ended up like falling in love with each other. And I was like, what can I say? I'm literally Cupid, because I'm always trying to hook people up. So I hooked them up and they start like talking a lot. And I don't know, he started being bad and being like, oh, everybody's asking like if I've hit yet and I haven't hit yet, like what should I do, Julie? And I'm like, because even though me and him were friends, she was still very much so my best friend, and you're just her boyfriend at this point. Like, we're not buddy anymore. And I'm not a dude, so do not tell me, oh, I haven't hit yet, or like I'm trying to hit. Like, don't say that shit to me. But I told her that he was saying that stuff, and she's like didn't really care that he was saying all this like kind of gross stuff about her. He's like, we've been dating for like 2 months at this point and I haven't hit yet. Like, it's been 2 months, buddy. So freshman year kind of comes and goes. They dated the rest of freshman year. I probably got them together in like March or so. And then they didn't really say anything over the summer. They didn't really hang out over the summer too much. They may hang out like once or twice. And then the next school year comes. So now I'm a sophomore at this point. So it was kind of normal starting the year. Although I started texting her and be like, oh my God, let's hang out. And she'd be like, yes. And then like out of nowhere, she'd cancel towards like last minute because she's like, oh, he said like we can't, like I have to hang out with him. And I'm like, so I was getting pissed off, and so whatever. Time goes on, and this kind of keeps happening. I haven't hung out with my friend in like forever at this point because he always said to be up her ass. And weird things would happen. I mean, everybody argues, but whatever. But we had a gym class together, and if you're a girl, you know what gym class means with your best friends. It's literally shit talk city. And so we were shit talking like all the time about like our boyfriends. Not like shit talking about them, but like just like, oh my God, listen to what my boyfriend did this day. Listen to what my boyfriend did today. Like just like funny things like they do, or like good things they did. Or if they were bad that day, you know what, then you get your punishment of being talked about in gym class. Whatever. So basically we did this for a while, but her boyfriend got put in ISS at one point. So he wasn't in class anymore. But prior to him getting put in ISS, I told you I have like a bigger friend group. Like I knew a lot of people in my grade just because of my cousin, and we always put our friend groups together. So I knew a lot of the guys in my grade. Like I could talk to them easily. And we were like talking about it because they all do track and baseball at the same time, and I do softball, and I wanted to kind of see what it was like to do both of them at the same time. Well, from the back of the room, her boyfriend shouted out, she's not in this class, he shouted out, would you be wearing shorts to track? And I was like, what? Yeah, like, and my cousin was like, stop right there, don't say another word. And I didn't understand what like the heck was going on. So he was like, he grabbed my notebook and he wrote, he just wants to see your ass, and handed it back to me and said, so don't say another word. And I was like, okay. And I wanted to tell my friend before anybody else got back to her, but it's a bunch of teenage guys and they're gonna go and say shit like, he was talking about her ass. Yeah. And my friend was mad at me. She didn't talk to me for like 2 days after that, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, your boyfriend's the one that said that. All I said was stuff about joining track, and your boyfriend's want to talk about my ass, and you're mad at me. Like, what is this? Whatever. So her boyfriend's put in IS at this point, and that probably happened like 2 weeks, so I don't even know when ago. And I don't know why it got brought up in a conversation. We were talking about her boyfriend or something, and I was like, I just want to tell you about that story because like I never got to tell you my side because you wouldn't talk to me after. And this is what really happened. Like, I don't know what you heard. If you heard like I was talking to him or what, like I wasn't talking to him. He literally said it from the back of the room. We weren't even close. Like nothing happened. And after I told her like nothing happened, like I don't understand like why she was mad at me. Tried to like talk to her about it. Now that she like kind of like was chill, she was pissed. And not pissed at her boyfriend, pissed at me.
So I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't really bring it up again. We talked for like the next week after, and I didn't think anything was wrong, but then she started acting weird, not answering my snaps. I was like, why the fuck aren't you answering my snaps? And she's like, I don't snap people. Yes, the fuck you do. I see you're active on Snaps every 2 minutes, and I know you snap your boyfriend. So then some time goes by. I'm leaving for a trip. I went to States for one of my projects, and I see them walking, and I beep the horn. It was just funny. And then she told everybody, because I was gone, I wasn't even there that week at school. She was like, she wanted my boyfriend's attention. She beeped at us when we were walking. The fuck? But whatever. I just, okay, I tried to apologize. Well, I left her undelivered on Snapchat. I was like, I'm not fucking answering you. You were talking, and she was telling everybody, like, I wanted her boyfriend and everything behind my back. While she still wanted to be my friend that week that I said we talked after and nothing was wrong. That whole week she was talking shit on everybody, and everybody thought I knew. They were like, oh, we didn't know you were still, like, talking to her, and she was being nice to you because she was talking so much shit on you. And I was like, excuse me? Whatever. So then I ignored her, and she unadded me because she was like, I don't want her on Snap. She's not gonna snap me. Well, bitch, I'm not gonna snap you because you're talking shit on me. And she kept me on every other social media. I unadded her because she kept on looking at my pages. And then time goes on, and I tried to, like, talk to her. I was like, if you would have just, like, came to me and been like, hey, like, I feel this way, like, for whatever reason, I would have apologized, and we didn't even have to talk about our boyfriends anymore. We could talk about our friends. We've been friends for 5 years prior to you even dating your boyfriend. I don't give a fuck about your boyfriend. And me being in a relationship of my own. So I said, you could have been mature about it instead of going around telling everybody else. But she got pissed about that. Maybe because I was right. So whatever, time goes on. I tried to apologize like 3 times over the summer too. So fast forward to my junior year. We have a few classes together, and I'm a junior now. So I was like trying to talk to her, and she was like she was talking to me first. She like said my name in like conversations and stuff, like when we were all like working in a group, because there was like 4 of us, 4 girls that like I knew both them and she knew both them. So we were kind of like in a group of 4, and she'd like talk, like say my name, like, oh, Julia, you do this one or something. And I thought we were like getting okay. I told my boyfriend, I was like, oh my God, like I think we might be friends again. And then I went out with one of my friends, and we used to hang out with her all the time. And I was like, text her and ask if she wants to like hang out with us. And she's like, oh yeah, like maybe. And my friend was like, okay, well, when do you want to hang out? Like we could do like any day because. And then the next day I wasn't at school because I went on a courthouse and like jail tour for a field trip. And she started talking shit about me, saying that I'm being fake nice to her and that this fight is never ending because I want her boyfriend. I've been dating my boyfriend for almost 2 years. I'm pretty sure if I wanted your boyfriend, I would have had your boyfriend. Like, that's so mean, but your boyfriend literally was asking me who I liked and everything whenever I put you guys together. So would I not have been like, you? Like, I want you. Like, I didn't, though. I wanted you to have him, and you have him, and I don't want him. I'm no Indian giver here. You have him. I'm just so frustrated because, like, I tried to, like, fix things multiple times now, and she's saying that I'm being fake nice. What am I getting from being fake nice? You owe me an apology for talking shit on me and not coming to me and being mature. What do I owe you an apology for? You thinking that I like your boyfriend? Asking how he was doing in ISS? Telling you the truth? Like, what do I owe you an apology for? Your boyfriend owes you an apology for saying that my ass was fat. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's, like, I know people say, like, don't blame the girl in the situation. And I know it's hard not to sometimes. But, like, come on, I'm your best friend. Why would I lie to you? Anywho, thanks for watching, guys.
Girl, let me tell you what happened yesterday. Let me give y'all context and backstory first. I was dating this man from one of my friend groups. 0 out of 10. I don't recommend dating your friends in a large friend group setting. I don't recommend that. Don't do that. Long story short, it just didn't work out. He was actually cheating on me. He just recently got engaged, and I know the girl who he is now with, and girl, I know her. However, by the grace of God, the friend group, or majority of it, still, stayed intact. And so we still hang out all the time. We serve at the same church. Like, it's cool. So we dated for almost a year. We dated for like 11 months, 10, 11 months, something around that time. So our lives were pretty much intertwined, especially because he was from down here and like I don't live here. So I would hang out with his family. We got really, really close. So I gave you the backstory. Let me tell you about it yesterday. Me and my homegirls, my best friends, we was like, we gonna go get our toes done. So one of my homegirls is dating my ex's brother. So we were both dating them at the same time. Just so happened, they got engaged, they got married, they had kids, all the things. So we're sitting in the chairs, we're yapping, and then the door opens and in walks one of, her in-laws or, my ex and my friend's cousins. Of course, I speak, I give a general, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you, woo, woo, woo. I can kind of tell she don't really recognize me. She can't really place me, but I'm not going into detail because it's cool. So she's yapping, she's talking to my friend, and then I'm thinking she finna leave. She looks up, she turns to me and she goes, oh my God, congratulations on your engagement. And I'm like, hold on. That's not me. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, listen, it is okay. I am not offended, girl. Not in the slightest. You're good. Years ago, I wear this ring on my right hand. And she goes, yeah, oh, God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I saw the ring and I just assumed. I was just like, that was a choice. See each other often. Because why you don't know who your cousin marrying, friend? Oh, girl, I'm just really happy I'm in a place where I could just laugh about it. Because there was a point in time, baby, certified crash out. Certified about that. Because that was a really, hold on, y'all, girl, that was just a really difficult breakup for me. And I don't know, I think it was the fact that my last serious relationship, we just agreed to split. Like, we didn't cheat on each other. It just wasn't a thing that was serving us. So I was like, oh, my next relationship, I'm gonna give it my all, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And I did. And the level of betrayal that I was met with was simply diabolical. However, moral of the story is include your family in your nuptials. And thank God for your growth. See y'all in the next video.
This is the story time of the worst date that I've been on in my entire life. Let's call this guy Edwin because that was his name. So Edwin and I had been on only 2 dates and we were talking for like less than like 3 weeks. He was a really nice guy. Like, after our first date, it was my birthday a week later and he gave me like champagne and roses, just like randomly dropped them off at my apartment. So I was like, he's a vibe. So Edwin and I are planning our 3rd date and he's like, oh, it's your turn to pamper me. Immediately I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, this date's on you. Like, you're gonna plan it, you're gonna pay for it, you're gonna do everything. And I'm like, because I'd assume that's a fucking joke. So I keep saying to him, I'm like, you're so funny, you're so funny. But I go ahead and I like book the date. I just book one of like my favorite sushi spots and I'm like, he's like not gonna make me pay. That'd be absolutely insane. Listen, I would not mind paying for a date if I was in a relationship with somebody, not when I'm going on the 3rd fucking date and you're supposed to impress me to try and get in my pants. So the whole week we're talking about this and he's like, can't wait for your treat. And now I'm starting to get fucking triggered because in my past relationships, I was like the breadwinner, so I always paid for fucking everything and I dated losers, so they expected me to pay for everything. So we get to the sushi restaurant, everything's going great, and then they're like, oh, what do you guys want to drink? Like, the waiter's like, what do you guys want to drink? And he's like, ooh, I'm gonna get something fancy because Livy's paying today. What? So then I'm like, okay, Livy, time to be vulnerable. Let him know about your past. So I let him know. I'm like, hey, like, just so you know, this is really triggering me because I was used in my past relationships because I was the breadwinner. So this is like super triggering for me. And if this is like a joke to you, it's really not funny. He's like, I'm not kidding. And I'm like, what? He's still kidding. So the bill comes. And he slides it my way and he's like, here you go. Man, if you're watching, there's nothing that makes a woman drier in the entire world than you like literally sliding the bill towards her. Like, that's pathetic. But I say, fuck it, you know what? If I'm gonna pay like a baller. So I pull out like hundreds. Go to part 2.